Welcome back to the Frizz and the Grizz podcast with your hosts, Trudeau and D.
Whew! Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to the Frizz and the Grizz podcast, the hottest sports podcast in town.
That's right, folks. We're your hosts, Grizz and Frizz, and we're here to bring you the latest updates, expert analysis, and all the thrills from the sports world.
From heart-pounding touchdowns to nail-biting buzzer beaters, we've got it covered.
Get ready for some exciting interviews with your favorite athletes and some mind-blowing discussions about the games we love.
But here's the kicker, our secret weapon. This podcast was crafted with the help of cutting-edge AI technology.
You heard that right. So join us as we blend human insights with AI's brilliance to bring you one-of-a-kind sports experience.
It's time to score big with the Frizz and the Grizz.
Why did we do that? Why is that? Why did we do such a terrible, corny intro? That intro is generated by ChatGPT. We finally did it, folks. And guess what? The computers lack our charisma, I gotta say.
So I tried to throw everything that I could into it to make it sound legit, but I don't say things like "Welcome to the Frizz and the Grizz podcast." Like that's
bad.
That's you, man. That's not me.
Do you see what one of my lines was, by the way?
I didn't see your lines. I only read mine.
It said, "We're gonna have exciting interviews with your favorite athletes."
Oh yeah. When you said that, I was like, "Who are you interviewing, bro?" I'm kind of curious. Like, who's ChatGPT got us lined up with for interviews today?
So honestly, though, if ChatGPT could like do some guest booking for us too, as well as write us the intro, I'd be down for that.
I mean, it'd be cool if they put together like our notes. You know what I mean? Just type in, "Hey, what should we talk about on our podcast this evening?" Like that might be some actual stuff to actually type into.
That would be fun.
So I don't even utilize ChatGPT the right way. I have it on my computer just because of work. And like, we have really smart people at my job that will use it for, responses to emails, responses to reviews, like using good technology for it. I get on them just like, how do you cook a steak? Like little things like that. Like I've been cooking steak for 20, 25 years, but like, I'm like, how long do you keep a baked potato in the oven? Like, I don't know how to utilize ChatGPT the way that all these other people do.
Hey, what up, Shag? I snag over you.
Appreciate you. Hey, that's a new follower too. Yeah, I appreciate you being here, man. Way to tune in.
Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, and why are we using ChatGPT? We got a segment built in today. We wanted to play with ChatGPT. I made a segment. It's called, what's it called? D versus GPT.
I think that's what you call it.
Showdown.
Yep.
So basically, not to give too much away, later on in the show, I asked ChatGPT for its hot takes, like on historical things, sports, current event sports. It gave me its takes. I want D to argue the computers. Can you take down technology, D, and have the hotter takes?
We'll see. We'll see if it's something that I agree with or I just absolutely think is blasphemous. And if it's blasphemous, trust me, you'll get the heated conversation.
Yo, by the way, did you notice when you came in the room today, if you go to the camera settings, because it prompts you to like do all the shit when you like enter, because we're in StreamYard, like a little behind the scenes, they have a new feature that's like look good mode. And I'm like, oh, what's this? Dog, look how white it's making my teeth today.
I mean, for those that are listening tomorrow or listening on Wednesday morning, his teeth do not look any whiter. I don't know what he's talking about. I haven't looked at.
Thank you.
I don't pay attention to like that type of stuff. But if you're saying I can make my teeth look whiter, then why not?
Hey man, it takes away all the wrinkles and shit. Makes you look real good. They throw a filter on there for you now.
There's no filter needed for this. Black don't crack, baby.
Hey, I did want to start off with one like quick thing that was like on my mind this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I went grocery shopping on Saturday, and it just hit me walking through the aisles of Market Basket. Shout out Market Basket, a great New England establishment. Yo, people are just really dumb. Like we live in a mass world, huh?
Yes, we do. Please elaborate, but we 100%. I can agree with you on that one.
I'm just looking around, like everyone just looks just like duh, like like pushing their cart into like other people. Like there's no common sense. No one's like looking around at the surroundings. Just like brain dead everywhere. And it just bummed me out because like there's so many problems in the world, and like we're never gonna solve them because everyone's just so stupid.
I mean, I'm with you on that one. I think that's absolutely hilarious for you to find out 34 years into your life. But yes, I'm
Well,
gonna say that I'm in agreement with you.
the thing was like I don't know about you, but like growing up when I was a kid, I was like, oh man, like I'm a kid, I don't know a lot. Adults are way smarter, they know everything. And like as you get older, you realize that that's so wrong. That there
No,
are so many dumb people in this world.
so not only that, but like I feel like when we were younger, we'd be like, "Oh my god, he just looks so much older, so like he has to be more intelligent." Like
Nah.
you watch like the Rugrats. They have this old meme out with the Rugrats where it's like Phil, whatever Phil and Lil's father was, like all the Chucky's father. They have all of them in the pool, and it's like, "Oh yeah, we used to think those guys were old and dumb," and then you look, you're like, "Oh my god, that's us now, just like fat, overweight, belly out, just chilling in the pool. Like what's going on?"
I think you just made me think of my favorite Rugrats meme. You ever seen that meme where it's Tommy Pickles' dad in the kitchen stirring the pot, and the mom comes in and she's like, "What's wrong?" It's like 2 a.m. He's just like, "Life is meaningless." And
Yes, I
the late
have seen
morning.
that. It's so true. A lot of hidden messages in those old Nickelodeon shows.
Yeah, great show. We need to do. I don't know if we've done the top 5 Nickelodeon cartoons before this, but we
Mm-mm.
gotta save that for another time.
I like that. I like that idea.
All right. All right, first segment on the docket. It's kind of like a super segment, not Super Saiyan, a super segment. There were like a lot of things that involved financials that kind of popped up yesterday and today. So we're kind of just going to lump it all in. So we named the segment Show Me the Money, not to be confused with our parlay gambling segment, which when football comes back, we're bringing that back 100%. So between the Saquon, the running back stuff, the Jalen Brown stuff, the Kylian Mbappe story, which one do you want to jump into first?
I feel like the one that has, I'd say, the least traction towards it, just because there's a lot of gripe and animosity towards it, is the running back contract. So let's start with that.
You said there's gripe and animosities. Like, are people like bitching about them complaining, or like what's
Yes.
really?
Yes. Yep. A lot of people from the outside running back world. Look, this is how I see it. Running back is one of the most important positions on the field, but it is one of the most expendable positions. And I'm team running back. I think they deserve their money that they get because it's the only position in sports where you can prove your worth. And when you prove your worth, you're told that, okay, that's too much work that you did. You're not going to be able to replicate it again. There's no other position in sports where you could overachieve and not be compensated for it. It's literally just the running back position.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are in agreement that running backs for like their career earnings pretty poor. It's tough for me because like I understand where both sides are coming from. If you're running a front office, right, you're looking at this position as probably the most expendable, right? You can replace you. There's obviously a downgrade from getting like a Saquon to somebody else, but you can get a guy in the third round and maybe you have a 30% drop off in production, and you're gonna be paying that third round player, you know, 80% less. So I understand where that mindset's coming. At the same time, man, if I'm a running back and like an elite running back, like a Saquon or Nick Chubb, Christian McCaffrey, granted he got paid, I'm pretty pissed because the first 4 years of my contract, I'm pretty much paying for nothing. And they come into the league, like of all the positions, they come into the league with the most ability to produce automatically.
Yep.
And that drop off happens quick. So I understand why they're pissed off because they want to make the most out of their career earnings. For me, and you can go wherever you want with this, I like what they were doing, right? As far as trying to get together and drawing a line saying, we're not going to accept this no more. But Saquon doing what he did today and accepting like a bullshit, going from the franchise tag, they gave him $2 million more only 1 year, and be like, okay, like you got to stick together and be unified if you want to actually see some change, right? So it's like when you have all those people striking outside the factory and the first person crosses the picket line, there's going to be more crossing the picket line after that. So like you're just giving up all your leverage and you're going to be in the same situation you were in last week.
To an extent, because this isn't going to go away. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I think at the end of the day, still NFL players. We talked about it off the air. Like people want to get their money, and he's got 12 million that's guaranteed, 2 million more than what he would have gotten with the franchise tag. Like I'm not saying it's what they should be getting, but like he got his bread. Next year, this is still going to get brought up. They're not going to jump from 10 million as the franchise tag to paying running backs 15 to 18 million in a year. So if he can get that 12, now maybe that 12 jumps the franchise tag to 11 and a half next season. But now he's getting contracts, but now he's getting people that open the door for contracts for 14 to 15 million. It's baby steps. It's not going to happen overnight. And with it being a replica league, meaning everything is coming from college going to the NFL, when college running backs start to being very producing, then we'll start to see contracts go up for the NFL. But right now it's all pass heavy.
Well, I mean, I think if running backs want to take the approach Saquon's taking, like, give me the 12 this year, we'll do whatever next year. I think front offices would love that, because for them, it's like, all right, if you were good last year, we'll pay you for your services last year, but we're not going to give you 3 years because we know how your position drops off a cliff. To me, it should be more about getting the long-term deal.
Yes.
Get 2 years, get 3 years, 4 years maybe. So for him just to take a 1-year deal, what happens if he gets hurt next year? He ain't getting shit the year after. As a running back, your career is in jeopardy every goddamn game because it's such a violent position. You got to get some guarantees long. I know that position is not fully guaranteed, but you have to get some money guaranteed long term to make sure that you're taken care of if something bad would happen to you. So, like, for me, Saquon, what he did, he just put the whole position back another step. If they all held strong, him, Jacobs, who else is holding out right now? There's a
third it wasn't Henry. Henry just spoke up.
Whatever.
I know there's still talk out there that Dalvin Cook is part of it. He's not picking up deals because he wants to make sure that his money actually is there.
Yeah, I mean, they all have to just take a stand together. And if it's more than one guy, if it's like a whole block of 5 really good running backs holding out.
Oh, Austin Eckler. That's what it was.
Okay, thank you. If it's a block of guys working together, then I see where this is coming from. But like, as these guys one by one start breaking off and signing contracts, they're doing no service to the position.
But they are bringing up the price tag. If I'm telling you, like, it's the long game.
Do players like the franchise tag? I feel like
players hate it.
Yeah.
They hate it. They absolutely hate it. I didn't realize, I know go off on a tangent, but it'll be a quick one. Back in like the Madden 06 days, when you had the ability in franchise mode to put the franchise tag on somebody, they used to have a morale bar. And when you give somebody, the morale would go from like green to red. I'd be like, what the hell? Like I thought as a GM, I was like, I'm saving money. I'm giving you 20 mil. Why are you pissed off? And then, 20 years later, I'm like, oh, that's actually bad. That's the reason why they hate the franchise tag. But I think, again, a band of brothers when it comes to the running back position, if they were to do what you were saying, which was try to hold out a little longer, it might have helped in the short term. But I really do believe the play here from Saquon is get this $12 million so that you can produce. We know how good people do when it's a contract year. Produce and then show next season.
Last year, he was amazing. Last year,
absolutely. He was the position that he played the way we wanted him to play post the ACL to get the contract he's supposed to get.
Right, but you're saying, all right, you go and you produce this upcoming season, you'll be taken care of.
Now he has back-to-back seasons of you saying, "Look, I don't think it's going to happen." It's like, no. Now you have multiple seasons of this.
What's stopping the Giants from giving him the franchise tag next year?
I don't think you can give him a franchise tag after not giving it to him right away. I don't think you can just wait on that.
I'm not sure if they can or not, but I'm just saying if they could, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm with you because I thought there was like I'm not up on the NFLPA rules and whatnot, but I thought it was like if you had the ability to get franchise tagged and you didn't, you couldn't just bring it up again.
Maybe it's because a 1-year contract. They can't. I don't know the details.
We'll look into it.
I was surprised that he did cave. And if you're gonna cave, like, milk out some of that training camp. You know what I mean? Show up like middle of August. What are you doing?
Show up like Eddie Lacy, just fat and out of shape.
Fat Eddie Lacy. Oh man, I forgot about that dude. So like moving on to a different financial story. I didn't want to touch on the Jalen Brown thing because you were kind of, I don't know. Were you shocked about it before the show? I was trying to get like your feel for it.
So I was surprised. I was surprised because it was a name that was thrown out there for trades. And I don't see him being traded now because of it. So that's a hefty What do you get? 5 for 260 is what I wrote down, or a little bit more than that.
It's more.
5 for 304.
Yeah.
There's a $55 million tag right there. That's a lot of bread. I don't see them trading them like that. So what they're doing is now they're saying that our future is Tatum, Porzingis, and Brown. Is that enough? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that enough to get you guys what you're looking to get? If it's not, that's a hefty contract. But I sent you an Instagram post from Austin Rivers saying that like the market with the CBA and how it's set up, you're going to get people that are either overpaid, top of the line bread, or minimum contracts. There are no more middlemen when it comes to contracts. And I mean, I'm not saying that Jaylen Brown deserves to be a couple all NBA selections, but like second tier All NBA to be the richest contract in NBA history. I don't know if that sits right for somebody that isn't really producing with his left hand and turnovers in the playoffs and whatnot.
I know I saw a friend in a group chat say they should deduct $1 million every time he dribbles it off of his foot. So you're paying the Celtics by that rate. But let's just talk about like one thing at a time, right? So like
sure.
The first idea, the idea of like the sticker shock, right? And also you said that you don't think he'll be traded because of that number is so high. And then we'll circle back to like the middleman getting cut out. I don't know if you're aware, but like, so they just redid the CBA. We just talked about that a month ago. They agreed to a new CBA. They're going to have a new TV contract soon. There's going to be a huge boost in the cap and revenue. And unlike the last time they did it, where it was like one big cap spike, I think it's going to be 10% roughly over the next 4 or something years. So like you're going to see the cap go up $30-40 million
per season.
No.
Oh, just per. Okay. Overtime. Yep.
Yeah. In the next 4-5 years. And your guy, Zach Lomino, I listened to his podcast that he put on an episode this morning about it. And he made a really good point where this is very similar to the Mike Conley situation when Mike Conley became the highest paid player in the league, like in 2017, where it was always like Mike Conley, highest paid player in the league or biggest contract. And it's going to be like that for Jaylen Brown for like a season or two. But that quickly goes away because there's going to be someone's going to beat that contract, another person. So he's going to be, by the time this contract's in year 4, he'd probably be like the 12th highest paid player in the league. Like that's still pretty high.
I was just about to say, do you think that's still like?
That's still pretty high, but that's one of those things where like it's the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
Because he would be pissed off if he didn't get the max, like the most max they can give him. And any other team would be willing to give them as much money as they could just to acquire him if someone had the cap space. So like I think the sticker shock's pretty high now, and he's probably gonna get a lot of shit this season if he's not all NBA. You know what I mean? Like,
right. What I mean? That's the bigger thing for it.
But just like one last point is that as that number doesn't look as crazy when the cap numbers do go up, I wouldn't be surprised if he got traded in year 4.
Really? I thought it'd be like between year 2 and 3.
But down the line, the number doesn't look so crazy. So we'll see. I mean, he could stay. I think it's like a 50-50 chance. I don't know what their Celtics are going to look like in the next couple of years, but he could be gone if it doesn't work out. $
60 million a year is a lot. That's I undercut it by saying 55.
Lillard right now, he's what, 34 years old, 35 years old, and he's getting paid next year, I think $50-something million. And he got traded. There's a market for him. There's a market for Bradley Beal, and everyone thought Bradley Beal's like a top 50 player at this point, and he's getting paid a super max. So like there's markets out there.
I think the sticker shock is the one that was more prevalent for me. Just I see that I'm just like, damn, 5 for 304. Ay carambas, all guaranteed too. And I mean, the long-term game is like Celtics fans. This is for you guys to answer. Either on air or in the car tomorrow, while you guys are driving to work. Is this the future? Is this going to be enough? Because they're gonna pay Tatum. They have to, obviously, when his time's up.
That's a contract that's gonna tower over.
Like they're gonna pay him. So like that means you're going to have, let's just say, what is the cap right now? 210.
I can look it up. I don't know on top of my head.
Let's just say 200 flat, right? Just to make it even. You got 60 tied into Jaylen. You're going to have 70, 75 tied into Tatum. And then whatever the 30 to 40 per year is for Porzingis, what the hell else are you going to try to get out there? Like that,
I mean, their team's pretty much what it is now.
that's what
They
I'm
can make some
saying. Like
moves.
they came up short this past season, and now they're locked in with it. I don't want to go into a Celtics tangent. We're on
Yeah.
contracts, but like
Well,
this is the future now. That's all I'm saying is like this contract means that he's going to be on this team. There's really no more additions to this team for a while.
I will say this. So, like, the one thing I have heard from people like who follow the Celtics a lot is they do have optimism that all those trades they did this draft season and around the draft to get like they have like a ton of second round picks now. Like they have a 6 or
Build
7.
from within.
Not built within, but like there will be down the line a team that wants to dump assets that has a superstar, like not a superstar, but like a high level player like a Bradley Beal. The Suns got Bradley Beal for a ton of seconds and some dump money.
Yep.
So like, the Celtics have, while it's not good assets, they can find a disgruntled player, or maybe they can find a team that just wants to dump and rebuild. So they have the potential to make moves, but I know what you mean. Like they got 3 dudes now who are going to be locked in for 70% of your salary cap.
Yep.
And the number was for next year, it's much lower than you were saying. 136 is the cap. And the luxury tax starts at 165.
136?
$136 million is the salary cap.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And you have 50%,
That doesn't
48.
kick in until next, like the I
Right,
don't think
but still, it's just raw number. You're saying that Jaylen Brown is taking up almost 50% of your salary cap. Wow.
good luck, Celtics fans.
Yeah. Hey man, that's all y'all. That's all
I'm just
y'all.
saying, like, it could be a great move. Like if he's their guy and he can help take him to the promised land, then that's like kudos because you did what you got to do. But if it doesn't work and he's not the second best player on a championship team, you're kind of like you're riding that sinking ship to the bottom of the ocean.
Good God Almighty! Let's go on to another contract.
It wasn't. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he said Kylian Mbappe, the French superstar soccer player, football player. I think he said he's not going to take the contract, but apparently the Saudi Arabia club Al Ahly, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. They offered a transfer fee of like $340 million, which I'm sure there's people listening being like, I don't understand how soccer works. Unlike American sports, you think of your baseball, you think of football, whatever. You can trade draft picks to acquire players, or I know you want to get in there, or you can trade players like a player swap, essentially like a trade. In soccer, you actually just throw money. So like you buy out contracts. And once you buy out the contract, the player then can negotiate with your club a new contract. Did you want to say something, D?
Just to touch on baseball, international baseball players don't have a transfer fee, but they do have a talking fee assigned to them. I do remember that for like who was the pitcher for the Red Sox that threw the gyro ball?
Daisuke
Daisuke. Yeah, at the time that he was being talked to, I think they've limited it because like the way that now international baseball has gone, like Dominican.
On that.
Yeah, like they had like a multi-million-dollar just talking fee, like just to get into the room and talk with the guy. I can't remember what it was called or what it's called, like what the name of it is, but like they've gotten it, they've minimized it. So baseball is there, basketball doesn't have it, football doesn't have it, but soccer, football. Yay, you want this guy? Yeah. You want this guy? You pay him $700 million and you give us $300 million. That's the deal. Jesus.
That's wild.
That is incredible.
That soccer money is no joke. So yeah, like the idea would be like they would buy out his contract for $340 million. So that money would go straight to the club, which is Paris Saint-Germain. And then they were going to offer him apparently $740 million a year, which is just crazy.
Oh my God. So we won't go too much into it because we're not real football, soccer like watchers.
I don't know, man. I got some knowledge, but go ahead.
You might have, you have more than me. I stopped playing FIFA quite some time ago. But what I'm saying is we just talked about who's going to be the first billion dollar contract that we're going to see. Like we were joking around and not even a week later, all I see is 1.01 billion. Like for what? I've seen so many videos of like dads that are like, "Yo, we're not practicing football. We're not practicing basketball no more.
Y'all
Get
play
yourself a
football.
soccer ball." Like, good God, just being associated with athletic sports or just professional sports and the tag saying billion, that is fucking bananas. Just ridiculous. I was fell on the ground. I was like, there's no way this is
Oh,
real.
he wouldn't get the B, the
Right.
billion.
He's the 700 mil, but it's still the fact that
Full
that's
transaction.
involved.
Yeah.
And I was under the impression, not even like he's is the 1 year. I said we're gonna see $1 billion contract from like not a Bryce Harper. Who's the other dude? The other the guy from the Angels.
Shohei Ohtani.
Not him, but this is before Ohtani came up. The other guy,
Mike Trout.
Yeah, I was like, Mike Trout could be the first guy that's like 10 years, $1 billion.
I think
Like
his contract in retrospect is great. I think it's like 10 for 360 or something, which is in retrospect like dirt cheap for him.
For his, yeah, but like that's what I thought was going to happen. A sport where like people go 15-year contracts, 10-year contracts. Yeah.
Do you know about Bobby Bonilla?
Is he still getting paid?
Yeah, Bobby
Bonilla. But yeah.
Bonilla.
Yeah, that's the Mets, right?
Oh, yeah. He
shout out to the Mets.
The Mets are still paying a guy who hasn't played for 15 years. Yeah, Bobby Bonilla is every once a year it's Bobby Bonilla Day, and he gets paid I think $1.5 million by the Mets because he decided to take his contract over like a 40-year span. So
I'm trying to get the exact day.
And the worst part was the guy who owned the Mets at the time, who gave him the contract, was the guy who Rupert was it Madoff, the Ponzi scheme guy,
probably
who got the Ponzi scheme. So now the current owner still has to pay Bobby Bonilla. We got
July 1st.
July 1st.
So every July 1st, this man gets paid
awesome.
$1.19 million.
Like
he hasn't touched a baseball in 15 years.
I love that. You know, Mookie Betts has a similar provision in his contract.
Yep, I did see that.
I think he gets paid like 4 point something million. Like he's gonna be getting mad money.
He also gets endorsements, so like you don't need like he had Dunkin' Donuts at one point. Subway, like he didn't need anything baseball money wise.
His contract's really good for him too. I think he's making like almost $400 million. I miss him. He's a good player for the Red Sox. But back to Mbappe. You know, the trade-offs of accepting that contract is you're going to play in Saudi Arabia, which is a joke of a league, right? I mean, you want to talk about MLS. Like MLS makes Saudi Arabia look like the minor leagues in baseball, right? So it's not like, I know Cristiano Ronaldo went there. It was just a money grab. And Cristiano Ronaldo is very different because at this point in Ronaldo's career, he was asked to come off the bench for Manchester United. Was he at Man U last? For Manchester United. Mbappe is still probably the best player in the world. He's young. I think he's 24 or something. He's very young. Possibly like the best player in the world right now. I know it's a lot of money, but you're taking your reputation, your career. I mean, maybe not your career, but you're taking your reputation, throwing the gutter. And like on a darker note, right? Saudi Arabia is like not the nicest place, especially for minorities, like not non-Muslim people. And you're basically just going there to be a sideshow for the Saudi people. Like, I don't know, it just feels icky to go there. And like, I wonder how much dignity and humanity you're going to feel. I get it. It's almost $1 billion, but do you really want that for yourself? And I think he said like, no, I'm not interested. And I think there's plenty of reasons. I know there's 700 million reasons why you would.
I mean, money is money. I joked around one of our group chats, and somebody said, "You know, D, how do you feel about this contract?" I was like, "The same way I felt." What up, Uzi? Said the same way I felt when those live golfers took all that bread, and then they dipped and came back to the PGA. But I mean, I think it's different for him just because of what you were saying. Dude, 700 mil is still 700 mil. You know, they say it in Breaking Bad. You know, I know you have all the money in the world, but who says you don't want more? Like, there's no such thing as not having enough money. So, but hey, if he gets his bread, he gets his bread. I'm not going to fault him for turning down the deal. You know, if he's a man of pride and dignity, that's fine. But you know, you lose out on 700. We don't all live in the area where we could turn down 700 million, because I didn't Live throw like a very similar number at Tiger Woods.
I think they threw very similar, like $700 million. Tiger Woods. I think you're right.
And he was like, "Bro, I got that. That's in my back pocket. Like I'm good."
Yeah.
Like he literally like scoffed over it.
With Tiger though, there's a lot more on the line because he has the Tiger Woods brand, right? It's a sub. It's like Jordan has a Jordan brand at Nike. He has a Tiger Woods brand. So it's like, I get it, $700 million for Tiger Woods, but you might take a hit on your residuals. Like,
Stocks.
yeah. So I don't know about that. There was one other thing I wanted to. Oh, what was the other thing I want to touch on? Oh, Messi. Just like in the Messi thing, I guess.
Oh, he scored.
No, yeah.
Oh,
But
sorry,
I
go
was
ahead.
saying my understanding was Saudi Arabia was after Messi hard as well. And they were offering him around that figure, like $600 million as well. So he ended up by going to MLS, and I think MLS cut him a sweet deal. So maybe Mbappe should look into that in a couple of years, MLS, because my understanding with MLS is Messi gets a cut of
Steak.
he gets stake in the MLS, like MLS in general. He gets a cut of the Apple TV deal, and I think they're offering him like the Beckham path to ownership.
That's exactly what I didn't know you were gonna hit on that point, but it's that one. It's the what David Beckham did with the Galaxy, which was a player owner, and now he owns the Galaxy and he owns part of like the MLS. Not to say that the MLS is gonna come to EPL anytime soon, but like if you're getting this type of traction, you're gonna start to grow the sport better. Like that's what the younger kids want is they want to see these stars. You know, Beckham in our time. I haven't really watched MLS since that time. But like Steven Gerrard came over here. Wayne Rooney, I don't believe played.
Wash.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you're getting these stars like Lionel Messi. Like people were showing pictures of Messi at like Market Basket. Shout out to Market Basket. And people were losing their mind.
Here a couple of years ago too. I don't know if
Who?
you know, or Zlatan.
Yeah, Ibrahimovic. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Like another really good English Premier League player comes over here. And it's like, yeah, they're at the tail end of their careers, but like people still want to see it. People are going to pay to go watch him play, right? Like I can't go to Portugal and watch Cristiano Ronaldo, but if he plays on the States, I'm going to go. If he plays here, I'm going to watch him play.
By the way, one nice thing for Messi, I know we got off the money thing a while ago, just playing in MLS is he could probably just walk around a lot of places and no one will recognize him. Versus being
to an extent, yeah.
Versus being mobbed everywhere you go in Spain or France or whatever.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I had seen we just last point. I had seen something which was like, damn, that's actually really true. Of like, who's the bigger star? Is it Messi or is it LeBron? And like
Worldwide, Messi.
Yeah, worldwide. It was just like people will go watch LeBron, like go watch Thierry Henry. Another one. Yep, it came from France. People will go watch LeBron. People will travel for Messi. And it's like there's a big difference. It's like, yeah, you're right, bro. That man just put on a show. All he did was do a weak ass fucking free kick that anybody in the EPL or out in Europe probably saves, but here in the MLS, no curve, just over the block, just dipped it in. I was like, come on, man. That's how you score your game winner. It was still dope, though. I'll give him that.
I was just thinking Messi, we can agree, is probably the number one most worldwide recognizable famous athlete. Yeah.
Right now?
Right today.
Probably. Yeah. LeBron is up there.
I'll say is LeBron number two. Is there anyone else?
I'd say LeBron or Ronaldo. Reason why I'd say LeBron is because if LeBron walks anywhere outside of the United States, he's 6'8", 260 pounds. Like even if people don't know basketball, they'll just know. I think that's LeBron. I think that's LeBron James.
That's fair.
It's a big ass dude. That I think that's him, right? So, but if it's not him, I would say it's up there with Ronaldo.
I say like Asia loves basketball, so like
they'll know.
Who wins that one?
They'll know. Oh, it's just LeBron.
You ready to take on GPT?
Let's get it, man. Bring on the computer.
And there's some people new to the proceedings. You know, some people weren't here the whole time. We opened up the podcast with like a script written by Chat GPT, and God, was it awful. But I will say this: it's pretty good with hot takes. All right, so I went through an exercise. I wanted to incorporate Chat GPT into this show for like months now. If you're not familiar with Chat GPT, which I feel like everyone is at this point, but in case, you know, we got to cover our bases. It's an open source online AI. So you can go Google Chat GPT right now and pull it up. You can type in any questions you want and it'll try to give you an answer. So I asked it sports takes. I wanted to see how spicy Chat GPT could get. And basically I want to do a segment where I give you Chat GPT's takes, and D, you can argue with the computer and can see if you're smarter than a machine.
Okay,
Or
I'm all for it.
or at least better. So like we'll give you the takes and we'll decide who won afterwards. You or the computer.
Fair
I
enough.
have a lot of sports ones, a couple not sports ones. I want to start with this one. I asked GPT this question. Give me your GOAT Mount Rushmore for professional athletes. That was the prompt it was given. The 4 athletes it gave me for the Mount Rushmore was in order. This one, I asked it a few times, like I retried it. This one it loved. Michael Jordan it's on ChatGPT's Mount Rushmore. Muhammad Ali, Serena Williams, and Tom Brady was its Mount Rushmore of sports. I will say this: the first time I did it, it did not. It had the same 3, but instead of Tom Brady, and this was a weird answer, it gave me Usain Bolt, and I was like, I don't know about that one.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna agree with ChatGPT.
Agreeing with ChatGPT. Is that part of the show? Can we do that?
I wasn't expecting to. I'll take the ding. Again, I wrote these down pre-show, so like I have.
I'm supposed to fight it. This is
I'm supposed to, but like I would agree with them. I'm like, hey man, you're right about that. That would be mine. And it's even crazier that like the one that he got was the one that I was pissed off that I had to write. So I had Michael Jordan, clearly, obviously for me, the 6 finals, obviously perfection and everything that comes with being Michael Jordan. I had Muhammad Ali second.
That's 50, what I had second.
56 and 5, 37 KOs, like the Rumble in the Jungle, everything that he was able to bring to the sport of boxing, absolutely incredible. I had Hank Aaron as number 3 for me.
That's bad. Babe Ruth, huh?
Yeah, because 755 is the number that I'm used to seeing.
What about Bonds then?
So it would be Bonds if Bonds didn't have this whole shit involved with them. Like I still think he belongs in the Hall of Fame. You already know my issues that I have with Major League Baseball, but like I looked at it, I was like, look, if I'm gonna go American sport, baseball, who do I think of? It was Bonds. Like can't be Bonds because of his issue. Who's second? Oh, it's Aaron. I'm gonna go Hank Aaron. And then the number 4, I said it because it aggravates the shit. I gotta pick him. Yeah, Tom Brady. I mean, I might have my grievances against the man professionally. The man's got 7 goddamn Super Bowls. Like, what the hell else am I supposed to argue with that? Like, it's 100%.
You agreed on 3 of the 4. Mm-hmm. I want you to give your best case for Hank Aaron because not only did ChatGPT give me the 4, it gave me its reasoning why I picked the 4. So I want you to argue with your case for Hank Aaron. I'll give you the case that ChatGPT gave me for Serena Williams.
Hank Aaron for the culture. Oh, I can't even say that then if you're gonna go Serena Williams because they would be the same reason.
ChatGPT got you checkmate, brother.
Oh, he does. Like I said, he won this one. I was gonna say Hank Aaron for the culture. Like essentially, like he's a player that personifies what it is for an African American athlete. He did it right. He did it the way that I haven't seen anything come out scheme wise, saying that he cheated 755 right off the bat. Like it doesn't seem like he did anything wrong, but that also is the reason why Serena would be in the top 4. She did it for young African American females in this country, like young black girls like a Coco Gauff that can go out there and say, I want to be the best to ever do it because I watched Serena and Venus do it for years. So like it's the same reason why I would put both of them in there. I like his list, ChatGPT. I'll say you got me on this one, but I'm going Hank. You went Serena. I'm not mad at you going with Serena.
I'll give you the reasoning. It says with 23 Grand Slam singles and a dominant presence in the women's tennis community, Serena Williams is undoubtedly one of the greatest tennis players ever. Her consistent excellence and contributions to the sport make her a strong candidate for this Mount Rushmore.
She's not just the best female tennis player of all time. She may be the best woman athlete in the history of women's sports. Like, did you watch that movie?
I did not watch the Will Smith one.
It's a great movie. There's a line in there that like sent chills up the back of my neck, and it's when Will Smith is talking to, the father is talking to Serena, and they're watching Venus play. Serena's pissed because she can't enter because she's not old enough, and she's looking at him. And she's like, she's gonna be number 1 in the world one day, and he looks right at Venus. It looks at Serena. He's like, you're gonna be the best to ever play the game. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, and look what you did. Because you pissed her off, you literally caused her to be the best female sports athlete in the history of the world. Good for you, coach. Good for you.
2 hours later.
Oh my God, whatever.
I haven't used wait. So we're going ding ding for ChatGPT.
Good one. Good one. I'm agree with them on that one.
All right. I asked ChatGPT this question. I said, ChatGPT, what was the worst trade in NBA history? And it told me, oh, that Danny Ainge.
Dog!
He said that Danny Ainge in 2013 fleeced the Nets, sending an old KG, an old Paul Pierce to eventually get the picks to get Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I even mentioned Tatum and Brown and how those picks worked out. ChatGPT told me the worst trade ever was that Celtics trade. You want to argue that with ChatGPT?
I can't argue with it. So what I'm saying is, I think I'm just as smart as the internet, and I'm just as smart as ChatGPT, because I write right in here: Celtics and Nets trade Pierce, Garnett, Jason Terry, and DJ White for 3 firsts, 2 pick swaps, 2 future firsts that will turned into first round picks in 2017 that turned into Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. This month, I hate ChatGPT because I'm not losing. It just means I'm just as smart. This motherfucking computer is just as smart as I am. For y'all that are trying to pass the bar, just come to me. I can write your essays for you. Don't worry about the internet. Don't go to Google. I got your answers right here.
So 2-0 ChatGPT. I think you're going to win this one because I found this answer to be outrageous, but it's not a bad answer. So then I said, ChatGPT, in your opinion, because you're so smart, apparently you're smarter than D, what was the worst contract in NBA history? And it told me by far, Steve, in 2008, Gilbert Arenas signing a 6-year, $111 million extension with the Wizards. It told me this, right? Shortly after signing the extension, his career took a downturn. He had a bunch of injuries, and also there was a high-profile incident in the Wizards locker room.
Him and Javaris.
So for ChatGPT, the reason why it chose that $111 million contract as the worst ever is because Arenas only played 55 games for the Wizards before he got cut. Do you have a contract that you're going to argue with GPT is worse than Arenas' contract?
Absolutely worse. And this one was an easy one for me. Granted, this was way back in 2013, 2014. So the numbers, the salary cap was a lot different back then. Chandler Parsons' contract with the Dallas Mavericks. That man got paid 4 years, $100 million, $25 million a year. Please keep in mind the salary cap back then, in which teams weren't offering 100. You said they had 130 million tied up right now, right? Then you say that's 10 years later, 25 million a year to Chandler Parsons coming off 16 points per game. So they're essentially giving a quarter to 33% of their salary cap to a guy that was coming off of 16 points per game. And he did absolutely nothing for the Mavericks. They traded him eventually, I think, like 2 years into his contract to Memphis. Like, I think that's one of the worst. Somebody that is absolutely mid, literally the definition of mid, and you gave him a quarter of it. No, 33% of your salary cap.
I will let the people watching decide who is more right on the worst contract, whether it's ChatGPT with Gilbert Arenas or you with Chandler Parsons. I will say that I think you're both wrong. And we see that the guy who has the worst contract ever is still on contract. That's Ben Simmons. He can't even step on the court because his back hurts. He's afraid to take shots. He doesn't know how to take a free throw. Has he played in like 4 years? I forgot that he.
No.
Where does he even play now? I don't even know. I know he's getting paid wherever he is. That, to me, that's the worst contract in NBA history. I'm sure there's one I'm forgetting. I'm sure there's plenty that are just as bad. I don't know, man. We'll let the audience decide now. When I can't decide if it's like, for me, it's like the judges' scorecards tied. I want to get some outside opinions on who has the worst contract.
Because it's so recent, I wasn't even thinking about that one because I could have gone the route with like Russell Westbrook and the Lakers. Like, I was just like, no, I'm thinking of something that's like past history and whatnot. But
so right now, I'm gonna rule it 2-0-1 right now. We'll see if the audience takes yours. Not. I want to give you this. This is not an argument, and I thought you were gonna love this. Just because I know you're feeling hostile towards ChatGPT right now. Albert Haynesworth was a rough one. Well, we're talking NBA history.
Yeah, that was just NBA. Was his bad contract was with the Redskins, right? It
Yes.
wasn't with the Patriots. It was
And
with
he
the
stomped
Redskins.
someone like the day
Yeah.
after he got that contract.
And that's not a racist thing. They were literally called the Washington Redskins. For all you newbies that think that they were called the Washington Football Team, or what did they change their team? The Generals, the Commanders. Yeah,
Apparently, they're thinking about changing it. By the
they
way,
need to go back to the Washington Football Team. I thought that was
like
dope.
football
I
team.
really liked it.
I mean, it was at first I was like, that's the dumbest name, but I'm like, you know, I kind of like
It grew on me. It was like because it reminded me of a football club. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, the Washington Football Team. I like that.
You'll love this. Ready? I asked ChatGPT. You're not going to argue with me. I asked ChatGPT, what are the top 5 Gatorade flavors? Because you did it versus 5. Are you ready for this? You're going to lose your fucking mind. Are you? I think you are ChatGPT. Number 5 was Cool Blue.
Yep.
Number 4 was Glacier Freeze.
Blue again.
Number 3 was Fruit Punch.
Yep.
Number 2 was Orange.
Let's go!
Number 1 was Lemon Lime.
Yes, sir. Hell yeah. I can't be losing with this type of stuff. I said it. That's literally my list.
That was literally your list.
50 weeks ago when we first started doing this shit. Yellow, orange, red, blue. Literally verbatim.
Yes.
Good shit. Let's go.
Literally,
that's awesome.
like ChatGPT is in your head, man. Like,
no, they're taking shit from me. So we took this little thing, you know, it was a shot that we got a couple years ago. Everybody got it, and they took my blood and they put it into the internet, and every thought that I have is now on the internet. So these motherfuckers is copying me. That just made my night that ChatGPT had my exact order and list. And even the names of the that is awesome.
And it didn't even it called it by it didn't call it red or it gave it
it's gonna I mean
it's
athletes know it's by color.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you'd appreciate that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that made me that brightened up my Tuesday. We'll say that.
Let's just do last couple NFL.
Sure.
All right. Do you want the biggest bust in NFL history first, or do you want to?
I thought this one was just American sports, but we can do NFL.
Oh no, this is American sports actually. Biggest bust in spoiler. There's a lot of NFL people on this list. Biggest bust in American sports, or top 5 quarterbacks you'd want to build your young quarterbacks you'd build your franchise around?
I'd say biggest bust. That one would be the better one.
All right, this is the ChatGPT list. I want you to argue against it. Number 5, Kwame Brown. Number 4, Greg Oden. 3, Darko Milicic. 2, Jamarcus Russell. Number 1, Ryan Leaf.
Oh, okay. I hate the Leaf one because that's just because of Peyton Manning.
He flamed out pretty hard.
Yeah, but he didn't have he wasn't bad. He just wasn't. He didn't live up to the hype.
Is your number 1 Zion Williamson? By the way,
no, it's not. It's not that recent. But I did have. I only did 4. I had 4. I had Greg Oden, so in the top 5. Number 3, I had Kwame Brown in the top 5. Number 2, I had Jamarcus Russell in the top 5. And then the last one, I'm surprised they didn't pick it, but Anthony Bennett. Anthony Bennett with the Cavs. Yeah, that one was. I'm surprised that that's the Darko one for me. That's unfair. That was
before my time too.
Which one, Anthony or Darko?
Darko. I didn't watch NBA when Darko got drafted.
I don't. That's not fair for him because he wasn't really hyped up as an international player like a Luka or like a Jokic wasn't hyped up either. Dirk, like these guys that came in internationally, like he wasn't hyped up like that. He just happened to get drafted before Carmelo Anthony. That's all. That's the reason why. And Dwayne Wade, like that's the only reason why he's considered a bust is because where he was drafted. He still won a championship. Like, I don't think he contributed all that much, but he won a championship on that Pistons team. And it's like, how can you can't blame him for him getting drafted at that spot, right? I don't remember anybody saying the hype around Darko Milicic to be the 6'10", 7-footer that can dribble and shoot. Like, it wasn't like that. He just happened to be an international player back in the time where, like,
I'm going to give you the win.
I like it.
You win that round. The only thing I will say about Anthony Bennett, because I saw you said Anthony Bennett and Jason in the chat said Anthony Bennett. I remember when Anthony Bennett got drafted, and everyone largely said, "What are the Cavs doing?" Yes. Like it wasn't like this guy's a number 1 overall pick and he's going to be crushing the league. He got drafted, and everyone was like, "Are you on crack? Are you on crack, Dan Gilbert?" So like I understand he's considered a bust, but I think he was overdrafted, and that kind of set that narrative.
Yeah,
That's
you
fair.
could go that route. He was traded literally 2 years later. Like he didn't last at all.
Oh God.
I feel bad. I hate that I've put him as number one, but I think it's hilarious that again, ChatGPT knows they know like me, Jamarcus, Greg Oden, and Kwame. That's on anybody. Johnny Football, no, he was drafted 30th. Like
Yeah.
this
That's
is
like
gonna be
saying
a bust.
Debo was a bust. Like we all knew that was a bad pick when it
Right?
happened.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna be good. I'm glad that Reggie won a Super Bowl because for the longest time, and he was back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing yard seasons. Like a lot of people, like Reggie Bush is a bust for being the number one.
The hype was so
So
much Reggie,
crazy.
though.
It was crazy. He was supposed to be the next Gale Sayers. Like I remember that comparison all the time. But so Reggie Bush in this day and age, football was the best back in sports. But 10, 15 years ago, when everybody needed a bell cow, he was not. I can admit that. What's up?
Can you imagine if Reggie Bush was in the league, like prime young Reggie now, when he ended up on the 49ers? Was
Ridiculous. It would be fucking ridiculous. He would be the best running back in NFL history if he played now with a team like the Eagles or the 49ers. A read option team where you have a run heavy, but like you have a three-headed monster, quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. He would thrive. Instead, he went to the Saints. They won a Super Bowl. I'm happy. He helped contribute to it. He brought a bat and whooped everybody's ass. But he did take a hell of a shot from Sheldon Brown. That was a hell of a hit.
You remember the trend? I know this is off topic now, but you remember the trend in the NFL back in the day, like 10 years, where you had to have the Thunder or Lightning back. That was like the thing. Like you had to have a big back and a little back. And I think, well, who was with Reggie? The Alabama guy.
No, that wasn't Mark Ingram. It was Pierre Thomas.
I thought, was it Mark Ingram after Reggie?
Mark Ingram was after. Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
who was the original Thunder Lightning? Was the Panthers, right? Stewart and
D'Angelo Williams.
Yes.
Yeah. So for those that know, obviously me and Trudeau, we do our best with the NBA. We do our best with the NHL. We try with baseball. We can talk, some soccer. When it's NFL season, that's our shit. Like it's second nature to know information when we talk about football.
Basketball, football, like this.
For you, I guess, yeah. I watch basketball. I follow it, but like football is love. Like I can throw up random names with that.
2-1-1. I'll give you the second one. So it's 2-2. You and ChatGPT. This will be for the win. All right, the hot take showdown. I asked ChatGPT this question: if you had to start a franchise today and build around 4 young quarterbacks, what 4 would you take in order? Now, here's the one caveat, as I told you about ChatGPT. It was programmed with data up until 2021. So it doesn't have data from 2022 up until now. So that might skew some of its reasoning. I'll just preface it at that. In reverse order from 5 to 1. I thought it was a good list. Number 5, Kyler Murray, is the little suspect one.
Ugh.
4.
What?
You'll like the rest of it though. Hold on. 4. I think they would remove it if it was redoing it today. 4, Justin Herbert. 3, Lamar Jackson. 2, Josh Allen. 1, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, this list is trash.
Really?
Yeah.
It's missing Burrow, obviously.
Yes. So I'll have the better list. I'm going to go 5, as much as I talk crap about him, Herbert. I'm going to go 4, Lamar. I'm going to go 3, Josh Allen. 2, Burrow. 1, Mahomes.
I think that's an appropriate list.
I'm not taking Herbert over Lamar. I don't care what anybody says. He literally has defined
those. I would have switched those, but that's
fine. A lot of people will, but Herbert has done nothing when it comes to winning. Lamar has an MVP, and he's actually won a couple playoff games.
We'll save that conversation.
It's not football time. You're right.
We'll save the conversation of the day. I think that the big disadvantage ChatGPT had in this one was, again, it didn't have 2022. It didn't have 2022. I don't think it had the playoffs for 2021. So it didn't have the Burrow playoff run of the Super Bowl in its database. It didn't have Burrow the next year. So like it missed the couple of years of Burrow was awesome. I think it just had most of the Burrow injury years.
Yep.
And Kyler was pretty damn good if you remember back to like its first couple of years. So I think benefit of the doubt, I'm going to give this one to you just because your list is far superior. I'm going to say it's a dead tie because I'm going to go with the tie on the other one.
It's fine with me. I'm just happy that ChatGPT picked the exact same
Gatorades.
Gatorades.
I also asked it one more thing, and I just wanted to just throw it out there to you. Well, I asked her for the best NBA mascot. I said Benny the Bull, which is some.
100% is Benny the Bull. He's an asshole.
Way. Absolutely not.
100%. That man throws cakes in people's faces.
Rocky, the Denver Nuggets.
For the Nuggets, yep.
Mountain Lion is pretty dope. And give shout out to Stuff the Magic Dragon in Orlando.
Stuff is the one that has the thing come out his nose, right?
Yeah. It's hilarious. By the way, worst NBA mascot, can we all agree? The Boston Celtic.
Oh, Lucky? Yeah. It's not even a mascot. It's just a white dude.
He's just
random white dude. He probably ain't even Irish, to tell you the truth.
No, he's just some white dude who got drunk at halftime before the game in full fan stuff and ran on the court.
Yeah.
I did ask you what the top 5 sitcoms of all time were, because I remember we had this as a Frizz 5 and we got very angry and disagreed. It's list from 5 to 1, and actually the funny thing is, this is the only list that I asked for that it gave me honorable mentions. I didn't ask for it. It just like number 5. I disagree. I said I Love Lucy. You can go to hell with that. Number 4, The Office. Number 3, Simpsons. Number 2, Seinfeld. Number 1, Friends. I don't love the ordering there.
None of those.
Outside looking in, they did give you Big Bang Theory, which I know you're a big fan of the Big Bang Theory.
Let's go.
Frasier, Parks and Rec, awesome show. Cheers and MASH. So the first battle of the hot takes, you versus ChatGPT. I feel like it was a good battle. I think the problem is that you guys are just too much in each other's head.
Yep, we're in sync, man. We ain't talking about music.
You know then. Let's do an extended closing takes today, because I don't have anything concrete to finish with. We're already like an hour or so deep. We can just kind of sit in the closing takes, have some fun with it. What do you say?
That works for me.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes. Now go.
We've prefaced closing takes before. It's just kind of like the ISO ball. You get off your shot, do whatever you want. I want to rephrase. It's kind of like the dump. We just dump everything out that we haven't got a chance to get around to. There's a couple of things I want to get into. Number 1, did you watch any of the Women's World Cup?
Negative.
So I watched USA play Vietnam, right? And I was like, this is going to be an absolute disaster for Vietnam. USA should win 7-0. They should, hey, Percival, what's up, buddy? USA should win 6-0. Surprising, only 3-0. I was a little confused the narrative afterward about like the USA dominated Vietnam. Granted, Vietnam had 0 shots, 0 corners, and I believe they went over their half to the USA's half maybe like 8 times all game, which that's dominating.
I was just going to say they dominated.
But as someone who watched the game, the USA women's soccer team had so many chances to finish goals that they just could not execute. It was mind-boggling, and they were the favorites coming to the tournament. They are still betting favorites. I feel very strongly that they will not win this tournament.
Really?
Just when you play a very good team, you need to execute. It's like this. Do you imagine watching a football game and your team gets all the way down, marches 90 yards on a football field, and they're just kicking field goals every time? That's how I felt the USA women's team played. They dominated up until the point where they needed to finish and get the points.
But they scored.
And they just could not execute, right? And I think it's going to bite them in the ass when they play in England, when they play Spain or Germany. It's hard to advance. You have to make the most out of every opportunity, and I just don't see it.
I can kind of agree with you with that. I think the analogy with the field goal thing might be a little bit off. I would more so, and again, this isn't without me watching it, I would say more of like this is like an Alabama facing UL Monroe, and they are up 21-0, and every time they get into the red zone, they stall out. I think that's what, like, there's Are they stalling out because they're being lazy and they know that they're better than that team,
No,
or
no,
are they stalling
just-
out because like of nerves and like they're not living up to the moment for themselves?
I would say it wasn't nerves of the U.S. women's team, or it wasn't laziness. It was just they would try to make crosses or passes and they would just overshoot. It's just like it was just a skill lapse where they just weren't sharp. They're just not clicking. Maybe it's a thing where you play a couple games, you start clicking.
Mhm.
But I walked away from the first game very underwhelmed and be like, oh, this might be bad.
Yeah, I mean, like only time will tell. I've seen this years upon years just to keep the football reference for it, but I guess the pigskin when it comes to replication of it. I've seen teams that are supposed to be absolutely dominant show up against a team that they're as far superior, less superior than, and they just don't show up. Like it's just you play down to the level of your competition, but then when you play a team that is really good, you play up. So not to say you're incorrect. I didn't watch the game, but that would be my first thought is, did they go into that thinking their shit don't stink? And then they're like, we're up 3-0, like, or up 1-0. We can get a goal anytime we want. We're up 2-0. We got the goal when we wanted to. We're up 3-0. Like we're still up. Like we don't have to worry about this game. Like there's a whole bunch of reasons that could happen.
That's fair. All right, what do you got for me?
I'm trying my hardest to surround myself. Yeah, I'm trying my hardest to surround myself with things that I'm going to like about baseball. But of course, social media and traditionalists continue to piss me off. So if you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and watch. Manny Ramirez is back in the news. Why? Because he's got an incredible son named Lucas Ramirez who cracked an absolute bomb walk-off home run for his team, I think in either high school or college. But because he hit this home run and he looked at the ball go over the fence, he didn't toss his bat. He looked at the ball, threw it over, and gave it a fist pump. People say he's going to be bad for baseball. This shit pisses me the fuck off. Like, it is a kid, and we got 50, 60, 70-year-olds like, that's not baseball. Like, act like he's been there before. Like, the kid's just raw emotion, just cracked the game winner for his team. And we got people saying, like, this isn't good for baseball, like, ruining this kid's moment. It's just annoying. It brought me back to, like, you know what, Ellie, save the sport. When one of the managers for Ellie De La Cruz, they were like, hey, check his bat. He's got something illegal on the bottom of his bat. And they checked. He was fine. The next pitch he sees, he fucking launches it 450 feet into the stands. And what does he do? He doesn't just throw his bat. This motherfucker looks at the bench and goes, hey, look at my bat. Is it good? And then he throws it. It's like, that's what I want. That's the type of shit.
I want you to punctuate the what's the child's name? The Ramirez child's name?
Lucas.
I want you to punctuate the Lucas Ramirez story being like, and he was 12 years old.
No, he's a teenager. He's a kid in high school. But it's just annoying. Like I see it. I'm just like, oh, this is dope. Like this is Manny Ramirez's kid. We all love Manny, right? Like Manny doing Manny things. He was a really good baseball player. He brought entertainment to the sport. And then like we see as this kid, and there's people who's just like, yo, man, just run the bases. Like act like you've been there before. It's like, no. 17 years old, I just cracked a game winner for my team. I'm going to act like I ain't ever been there before. And I'm going to show everybody that I haven't been here before. I don't care how pissed off it gets, you old-ass motherfuckers. I told you, man. They don't want to see tattoos. They don't want to see dreads. I went off on a tangent when we were talking about this months ago. And now we got Ellie De La Cruz, showing up people and then getting pitches thrown at his head because
I don't think any sport makes you more mad than baseball.
Baseball pisses me off, man, because like I want to watch it and I just can't when I see shit like that happen.
And it takes like 8 hours to watch a game. So
it's much faster now. But yeah, I'm with you.
Hey, last thing I just want to ask you about, dude.
Yeah.
What are they doing with Twitter? Why are they making it X? Like that's
because Elon is dumb. But
He's
go ahead.
Dumb, man. He's so dumb.
I got stalking him, so I need him to stop doing dumb shit.
That was a poor choice.
No, man, we got a lot. We got a lot of shares. We're good. But yeah, I just need him to stop doing dumb shit.
A lot of shares.
I do want because I want it to go up. It will go up. Trust me. Trust.
I hope. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Why did you buy Twitter in the first place? You fired everyone. You fired all the people. Okay. You changed the brand. Like, what is it now? You should have started your own thing at that point. What, like, are you that stupid?
Free speech, man. Just like it's, he's making Twitter the way that we want it to be. Okay, and right now it's going in the shitter. But it's still a news outlet, so we'll see how that goes. There's still a lot of sports media that uses it to get their message.
Wait. Is it a news outlet? Because last last week, Draymond was going off making comments about Kevin Garnett because he got fooled by a fake NBA Central account.
I mean, maybe it's not, but then there's people that think CNN and Fox and everything CBS wise that starts with a C is fake. So I'm not going down that road. All I know is when Woj drops a bomb, I'm there. When Shams drops a bomb, I'm there. When Adrian Wojnarowski, Schefter, they hit up my line directly. So I'm happy. Just keep tweeting. Keep that
Just
alive.
make sure it's not Woj with a J or a G. Make sure it's not ShamWow tweeting or it's not Adam Schneffner. Okay, that's all I'm saying because there's a lot of confusion out there.
There can be.
All right, D. You know what time it is, buddy.
It is, man. I feel like this was an incredible show. We appreciate all of the new comments, everybody that was in here. Uzi Percival, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all being in here. Jay from up north, Uzi Nini. Jay Allen, appreciate you, man. Best lineman one of the best linemen. I can't throw that out there. One of the best linemen that I've ever played with. Hey, man, shots when shots are there. But every time that we're heading out of here, I always say hit us up on all of our socials. You guys can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. Obviously, we have our website content and I would say gear coming soon. One of these days. No? All right, whatever. Keep throwing that shit. No, I'm out of here. So we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Please take care of y'all mentals. Make sure y'all take care of y'all physicals. Take care of y'all chicken. Take care of y'all children. And we'll catch y'all. Be safe.
They got a website that you can hire girlfriends for the day.